Hi, Malcolm Nance. Hi. You,
What the heck did you just play?
she shot the porn hooker. The porn
the,
hooker.
the porn hookers? Okay, first off, game knows game.
That's my
So,
new. That's my new garage band. Porn hookers.
Porn hookers. Yeah.
porn hookers. Oh my,
my
God.
God. Oh,
This is going to be brilliant. But, other than the porn hookers, we have we have the dopers in the White House today.
oh my God.
President is IAF.
And also, by the way, not knowing what world we're waking up in this morning, apparently we're getting more truthful information from a 15-year-old on TikTok. You retweeted Allison, who said, Claudia Conway's awesome and a handful, LOL. But bottom line, her mother should have protected her, not make Claudia clean up her reputation. Kellyanne is supposed to be the adult. You just said boom. I mean, she's the one saying what most doctors are saying. I don't think the president is doing well. I think they're, covering up a lot. I mean,
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's okay. That whole Claudia Conway thing here,
Oy.
being the one of the saviors of America, a 15-year-old girl with the technological wherewithal to collect the intelligence that America needs to know.
Somebody
right?
yesterday said she's like Bob Woodward if he came out immediately and said what's happening rather than waiting, several months to sell a book.
Well, she's like Bob Woodward with TikTok.
Yeah.
All right. If of course Bob Woodward was a 15-year-old hot-looking. Anyway. Moving.
Oh dear.
I'm just saying the Kellyanne Conway thing and that family, between her George Conway, her daughter. When is she just going to quit? And if she doesn't quit, because she's positive, I mean, that argument?
Well, she did quit. She quit the White House, but she's still there, right? I mean, that's how she got it.
No, I mean, quit like go.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
I mean, as opposed to let me help the evil win the. Let me help Sauron win the election and destroy Middle Earth. And then I'll go to Acapulco.
Malcolm, let me get to your specialty. Alexandria Chalupa tweeted, Donald Trump should not be allowed to speak with Vladimir Putin or any of his proxies while he's on drugs and medically incapacitated. He's incompetent and clearly living in his own reality. This is a national security threat. If our government were functioning, he'd be removed. Well, I'm not sure he didn't already give the codes to Putin in exchange for the $421 million that he owes, right? I mean,
Well, today we're supposed to be having a national security press conference, which is supposed to announce something. And according to Trump's insane part of his 65 tweet storm yesterday, one of the things that he said was he had called out and was about to declassify everything that the United States government had collected related to the Trump-Russia scandal. Well, that includes the names of real spies, all of our sources, all of the methodologies of the FBI, the CIA, NSA. It's insane. I tweeted that yesterday.
Yeah.
Edward Snowden doesn't have to worry about beating, Benedict Arnold for being a traitor. Donald Trump is going to use the power of the presidency while he is on drugs. That is a verifiable fact. You guys need to understand the president right now is hyped up on steroids.
Yeah.
And he is essentially on uppers. And he thinks that he said the greatest scandal in American history, he's going to out it today. Then again, he may appoint Nancy Pelosi, Queen of New York or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's that nuts today.
Well, yeah. And by the way, what are we going to see the unredacted Mueller report the day before the election? Is that when that's somehow? I mean, I don't even know. I can't keep track of which court. No, I know. But aren't we also finally seeing the unredacted Mueller report, like right before the election? I don't know which court ruled on what, but this is crazy. I mean, this is really crazy town. I mean, Malcolm, talk to us about all of the Joint Chiefs being in quarantine while the commander-in-chief, the guy with the nuclear codes, is on drugs and incapacitated and won't cede power. I mean, what? I don't even talk to us about our national security right this very second. Could you?
Yes. 1 second. I have to have a sip of my Chiefly coffee.
Me too. Yes. Okay.
Because I can't manage this catastrophe thing if I don't have my coffee cup in my hand, my management cup. Okay. Now that that's been done, we are in very, very serious trouble. the United States is literally adrift. The commander-in-chief is drugged out and on amphetamines to a certain extent in the White House. He is issuing orders and countermanding orders by tweet. His entire senior management staff is incapacitated through disease. He's infected the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I mean, there is no White House. And Mike Pence, you would think that this is the kind of thing that, you know, a guy like Mike Pence would want to step up to the plate and say, hey, I'm going to offer a measure of stability. No, he's just a psychopath who is sitting around waiting for his opportunity to implement the handmaidens tale.
No, he's still right. He's still mocking Kamala Harris for wanting plexiglass tonight because, you know, he clearly should be quarantining. He obviously was exposed to Trump and others, right?
Interesting note. One of the doctors this morning pointed out that it took 4 days for Stephen Miller to pop a positive on his coronavirus test. He tested negative day after day. There is an incubation with coronavirus. It does not happen in 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. It could be as long as how many? 14 days before it goes out there. And Donald Trump is still infectious. He is out there spreading and seething lots of coronavirus. That White House right now is just a disaster.
Yeah.
And the nation is technically incapacitated. If there's a real crisis, yes, the Joint Chiefs will go to work. They're going to work now. They have to take precautions. But for the most part, this government is in a position where this incapacity can be exploited. You know, China is just ready to clean our clock at the market. Mm-hmm. They're waiting for Trump to screw up, and whatever he does, they're going to be short selling him.
The good news is my fear of him using the military in some sort of coup is now the fact that he's called them suckers and losers and apparently given them COVID. I feel like they may be less inclined to think kindly toward him. What do you think?
There won't be any of this military coup stuff. All right. You can just get that out of your head. It's not happening. So, you know, I don't know where he thinks he is, but this is not a kingdom. We fought a revolution in order for us to not have a king who rules by fiat and dictate. What I'm finding the most confusing is how the mainstream media feels that just reporting it is their job. We are talking a government literally in free fall, in meltdown. I don't know what level of crazy Donald Trump will stoop to as the drugs kick in. Then what happens if I don't think he relapses, if coronavirus really takes charge, right? I mean, you can't believe a word that they say. We don't know whether he's actually in his bed or in the Oval Office. We found out this morning there was a complete contradiction about that. We have enemies who are truly waiting for their moment while this happens.
Okay, but Malcolm, part of the question I had, I couldn't wait to talk to you, is that yes, as Americans, we are vulnerable, them knowing we basically have an incapacitated president. But, you know, they're saying we're vulnerable to our enemies. Well, he's working with our enemies. Right. I mean, when you go, Russia might do something, like, he's working with Russia. So now what do we do? I mean, and what do you make of the FBI put out, didn't Christopher Wray, they put out a video. I'm like, wow, is he getting fired for them warning average Americans about Russia and about the election and about, right?
Yeah, the FBI has once again reiterated right-wing extremists and Russia are the top threat to this nation, physically and through cyber means. And the president, of course, is completely beholden to Vladimir Putin, so he's angry about that. He will probably fire Christopher Wray before the election.
Right.
But this is what we're going to wait and see today. What I suspect is going to be declassified is the report investigating, what's his name, Strzok and Lisa Page.
Right.
In the run-up to the FBI's investigation to the Mueller report. He will not declassify the Mueller report, but it's going to be done for partisan purposes, and it will give him the resources he needs to fire Chris Wray. You know, that means that the United States government is now just completely and utterly adrift. This is a Trump boat on fire, right, going down the river. And there is no steerage. There is no way to put out the fire until it sinks. And the only way that we're going to be able to do anything is to salvage the nation on election day. So for those of you who haven't voted yet in early voting states, get out there. Come on, put out on Twitter that you voted every time that you've done that.
Yep.
But by God, we've got to step in and save this thing. And I can't shout it enough. But is there any breaking news now?
So an all caps tweet. Now that the radical left Democrats got caught, COUGHT, cold in the non-friendly transfer of government. In fact, they spied on my campaign and went for a coup. We are entitled to ask the voters for 4 more years. Please remember this when you vote. Okay.
Kooky talk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kooky talk.
As Representative Clark just told us, Malcolm, here's the good news. Nearly 4 million Americans have already voted, suggesting record election turnout. You're seeing the lines all over TV. Do you know how many voted at this point in 2016? 75,000 people. We were already at almost 4 million people have voted. So they see what's coming. The latest poll had, of course, Biden up 16. And I know we shouldn't learn from 2016. Don't get happy.
Right.
But, this is just sort of terrifying. What did somebody tweet? Keith said he's trying to kill us all with COVID. I have a feeling we've entered into the if I can't have you, then no one will portion of our relationship with Trump. Yeah, I mean, right?
Don't doubt for 1 second. And I've said it on this show several times already. We will find out later that there was a Wannsee type conference. The Wannsee conference was the conference the Nazis all sat down and organized the Holocaust, right? Like gave contracts and things like that. We will find that there was a conference run and headed by Stephen Miller, most likely, where they decided that they were just going to go with herd immunity. We started seeing signs of that about 6 weeks ago, where they were all talking about this. Yesterday, Ron Johnson, who is positive, came out and said, we want to do that Swedish model, which is herd immunity. You are condemning 3% of the national population to death if you say that you're going to do that.
And it was a complete failure in Sweden. It was a complete disaster in Sweden.
That's correct. It was an utter disaster in Sweden. But now you're going to see, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday with Nicole Wallace, they had this guy from the White House just screaming over her, yelling over her, we can't shut down again. We can't afford this country to go into a hole again. That's their whole thing. Money versus your life.
Yeah.
I would never, all right? I would never, as a senior non-commissioned officer responsible for the lives of the men and women below me and the officers above me, all right? What you would see is what I'm doing right now. I would tell you, you're out of your mind. We're not following your orders because they're crazy, and I won't allow it. And this is what we as a nation needs to say, right? We can't just say that he's nuts. Yeah. They are calculating in their craziness.
Yep.
Stephen Miller and Trump ordered children to be forcibly separated and said that's what it was all about.
Jeff Sessions, I mean, it's coming out now. Yeah. They're all awful. I mean, Jeff Sessions, like, yes, we have to take the children. I mean,
out of their mother's arms. These people, I always have this argument with Elie Mystel, right? And half the time I go, they're nuts, and he goes, no, they're evil. Yeah. They're ignorant. They're crazy. But there is organization to it. Yeah. And that's what constitutes evil. And I have never spoken about any government outside of a third world potentate that I was about to bomb in these terms. And we're talking the United States of America is on the verge of crashing and burning.
Our friend Martin Sheen, who's given us both rosaries, Janet Sheen tweets me a lot or texts me a lot of funny things. And I'm like, Martin must really be struggling with his Catholicism right now. Because,
oh, my God.
I mean, Stephen Miller, you can't help it, right? Even if you're an empathetic liberal, you're going, oh, wow, he's sick. Oh, gee, I hope someone gives him a, aluminum blanket, on a cement floor. It's just like, oh.
These people.
You're right. The evil that they are responsible for is.
My sainted mother would be saying, help them, Jesus. But you know what? They don't care about Jesus. Jesus would be whipping these people before they ever got to the temple.
Yeah. Malcolm Nance, you are a patriot, sir.
I'm trying. We all got to try. Get out there and vote.
Yes.
Yeah, vote. Love you, Malcolm.